Now, in this context, since we divide service activities into consumer services, business services, and public services, uh, we like to first look at this particular geographical theory called central place theory. This is a theory that can be well used to explain the geography of service activities. So, since this is a geography class, we would like to emphasize that the geographical pattern of a service activity, in this context, the geographical pattern of a service activity. Central place theory is a kind of theory that studies cities or settlements as central places. Those central places offer services within the settlement themselves and the surrounding area. And these central places together form an urban settlement system. In the urban settlement system, you have small cities, you have a small settlement, medium-sized settlement, a larger size of settlement. They are all central places. Together, these central places of different sizes form an urban settlement system. The earliest people who studied central place systems are the two German scholars. Walter Christaller on the left side was a German geographer. He was the first one who wrote a book, the title Central Places in Southern Germany, where he discussed the central place system. Then you have German economist August Lodge. He picked up where Christaller left off. He began to apply some economic theory to central place study, and both make important original contribution to the early phase of study of central place theory. This theory so far has been significantly updated, and but we need to recognize the contribution from these original scholars. First, let's look at the concept of a central place. Central place is just a place, a settlement where people live. But in this central place, it offers some services to residents who live at the settlement, also within a market area, in the surrounding area. And come with central place, you have so-called the market area. And this is an area that is surround the central place. And they receive service from the central place. Or you can also imagine that people who live in outside the central place travel to central place to purchase some service, such as I would go to this particular town center to have my haircut. I would go to this town center to buy fast food or buy grocery. So that the town center becomes central place. Where I live is part of a market area of the central place. The German word hinterland means the same thing, the market area. So this is one pair of concept. Then we defined another pair of concept, threshold. Threshold is a definition that we call it the minimum number of customers that are necessary for a business to survive. So if a business will break even without losing money, without making money, just break even, how many customers you would need to have. So that is the concept of a threshold. So if you do not have enough customers, you cannot sell enough product. Therefore, you have to close your business. But what is the minimum number of customers that makes you not close your business? So that is the concept of a threshold. Then we have the concept of a range. Range refers to the maximum distance that the customers are willing to travel to purchase a service. Think about how far you're willing to travel to buy grocery. So that kind of the maximum distance that you are willing to drive or to walk to buy grocery or buy other things, or how far you like to travel to get a haircut. So that is a concept of a range. Okay, so you should realize that the concept of threshold and range somehow relate to each other. Okay, we'll come back to that point later on. Let's first look at some geographers who actually have gone out to do some surveys to calculate the average threshold size for different businesses, and these are some examples here. And now filling station, just a very small gas station, the minimum number of customers that are necessary for the filling station to survive is 196. This is an investigation that was done in the 1960s. Things must have changed today, but here we just give you some examples so that you can understand what is the notion of threshold. Okay. Now, elementary schools is 322 customers. So you need to have this many customers to have enough children to send to school, so that school can survive. Then physicians, kind of family doctors, you need to have the 380 customers so that you can keep your operation. Yeah. And barbershops, 386. And let's see, look at some other example. Dentists, 426. So this number seems to be very specific of 431. Could that be 430? Could that be 429? Yes, it could. It could. This just some average value from vast number of surveys here. Okay. Drugstores 458, so on and so forth. So that gives you a sense of for different activities, you need a different number of customers to support in order to survive. And high schools 732, dry cleaners 752. So you can really see the threshold vary. Some businesses require more customers to survive. Some is only a smaller number of customers to survive. So, but then you have some department stores that need over 1,000 customers to survive. Look at this undertakers that need 1,214 customers to survive. That is, you have this many population to generate enough death to survive a undertaker business. Okay, so that's how you understand it. And so that's give us an example of this threshold. Now we talk about the shape of a market area. In typical central place study, you tend to see those hexagonal shape of market area, the one on the right. Okay. Imagine on a plane we have many customers live there, and therefore at some settlement, some people begin to organize the business to selling product to customers who live on the settlement in the surrounding area. And other people on the same plane will follow the example, also set up their businesses. Therefore, they begin to form their own market area. And each business center have their own market area. So if all the market area are in the shape of a circles, that would leave some unserved areas. On the picture on the left, so between different circles, you would have areas where this the customers cannot get served. So customers who live here will not be served because this is beyond the travel range by customers, and people here will not be served. So circle does not seem to be a very good solution. But if you have a square, that means that people who live here would have to travel longer distance to the central place than people who are here at this margin. So not a very good solution. So eventually, Christoller come up with a kind of a solution that if all market area take hexagonal shape, so that gives a kind of a good solution. So you do not have area where customers are unserved. Also, people within a polygon, within a hexagonal shape of market area, travel approximately similar maximum distance to the central place. So that is a good compromise compared with circles and squares. Okay. Now let's talk about this. Let's look at this particular market area and central place. Okay. So we said before that somehow between the range and the threshold, these two concepts are related to each other. For businesses that require higher threshold, you would require people who live in a larger area, because only in a larger area you would have enough customers there. That also means that for a business that have higher threshold, customers would have to be willing to travel a long distance to get the service. So in other words, a business that have a threshold would also have a larger, longer range. That's how these two concepts relate to each other. But more basic services that have a lower threshold, you can also imagine that since you have a lower threshold, you would need a smaller number of customers to survive in business. Therefore, within a smaller area, you would have enough number of customers. But for a smaller area, that also means a shorter travel distance, a shorter range as well. So that's how the threshold and the range concept relate to each other. So that is the point of this slide. Now here we have an issue for discussion. How would the threshold and the range differ between basic services and specialized services? So here we can understand basic services at gas station, haircut, grocery shopping, so on, so forth. And more specialized services such as go to see a doctor, go to see a lawyer, go to see the college, go to college, go to see professional sports, a very good concert, and how those basic services and specialized services, how they differ in terms of their threshold, also in terms of range. So from your everyday experience, you can very easily come up with answers to the question. Also, how would online shopping will change the rule regarding the threshold and the range? Nowadays, people buy a lot of stuff online, especially during the coronavirus crisis. So people use online shopping more. How would that change this rule regarding the threshold and the range? So this again, not quite easy, not quite difficult to answer this question. Yeah.